she had almost 1 million TikTok followers and was taking brand deals for $50 a TikTok.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sassy with Miki and Tiff.
Woo! I'm so honored.
I'm so excited to have you here.
Really?
We've been saying that you're going to come to Seattle for like years now, and it finally happened.
I'm sorry, Kevin. I am the new Scrubs and Soy Sauce second host.
Yes, now that he's busy with residency, we are finding replacements, and this week we have a really amazing one.
God, thank you. I am so honored.
For those of you who may not be familiar with Tiffany's content already, she is an incredible content creator, a UCLA graduate.
Hello.
She's one of the smartest, most brilliant, and beautiful people that
Shut
I know.
up. No.
But you're also one of the OG lifestyle girlies. You make so much amazing content. I don't even know like how to summarize you. Like, she is flipping houses, she's doing investments, she organizes pantries and makes her house look absolutely immaculate. If you have not seen her YouTube channel or listened to her podcast, you absolutely must, because she's a gem.
That's so nice of you. Thank you. I always feel awkward when people are giving me like a summary, and that was very sweet.
So as you can see from the title of this podcast, we're going to be talking a little bit about being a creator, getting our college education, because we both obviously went to college. In fact, we went to the same college. We went to UCLA.
Except I am like older. And like you,
we're literally like a couple years off.
No, but you didn't go to UCLA until I graduated, right? Because I graduated in 2015. Not to age myself,
but I started in 2015, so we were literally.
Oh, we had 1 year overlap.
No,
oh,
no, you would have finished in June, and I would have started in September.
See, yeah, we didn't overlap at all.
Yeah, we didn't.
I'm a solid like 4 years old. Oh God, I don't even want to.
But I started college early too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, shut up! You're making me feel worse.
No, wait, I did not do the math on that one. I thought it was gonna make it better, but I think it went the other direction.
No, like you just made that worse for me. Thank you.
The first time I came across Tiff was like in your OG lifestyle girly days. Like, I was a loyal subscriber
of mine.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
How did I not know this?
Well, I like specifically out of the lifestyle girls, I feel like I resonated the most with like the Asian girlies.
Yeah.
And so I was subscribed to you, and I like loved your videos. I mean, I still love them today, but obviously they're very, very different style than they were back then. And so I was subscribed to you for a long time. And later on, I think then I also became a creator. Mm-hmm. I feel like I was always following you on Instagram. We should like go back and see I started following you. Can you see? I didn't know you could see that.
Because I felt like our friendship started because I started following you on TikTok.
Right.
And I saw you had followed me, and I don't know how we started DMing one another, but I saw you went to UCLA and that you're a nurse. And I was like, this girl's smart, went to UCLA, is a great like influencer as well, and is Asian and just cute, and overall just like good vibes. I was like, oh no, we could be friends. And then I think you were in LA.
Yes. I think I slid into your DMs and was like, hey, like I'm going to be in LA, which I literally never slide in anyone's DMs, and I don't ever ask people to hang out because I feel like, especially in LA, it's a lot of work to hang out with somebody. Even getting coffee with somebody is like a whole situation because you need to drive there. Yeah. It's like kind of a hassle. And so usually people, they don't say no, but they also don't say yes. And then they, even if they say yes, they flake at the last minute.
No, you know what it is? It's like, yeah, no, totally down for brunch next week. And then no one actually makes the plans to put the brunch together. Yeah. It's like, I'll totally see you next week. Like, I'm totally free.
Yeah.
And then you're like, so is it happening? Is it not happening? What's going on?
Yeah.
But that's like the case for, I feel like, a lot of people in LA, not just influencers.
Yeah.
So we actually made something happen.
Yeah. Like, I was really hesitant initially, but then I was like, oh, like, I guess it couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
And out of like all the influencer girlies, I was like, okay, like Tiff graduated from UCLA. I feel like we have a lot in common. But anyway, so I slid in your DMs, you responded, and we actually did make something happen. I think that first time we went and we got boba guys. Do you remember that?
Yes. And we got pizza at Roberta's, right? Or am I crazy for thinking that?
Yes, I think we did. I think we initially said boba, and then once we were like, okay, yeah, I think we get along, then we were like, okay, yeah, let's sit down at the restaurant and actually eat. The weird thing about our friendship is that, like, I feel like I've known you my whole life, but we've really only been friends for a couple years.
Only 2 years. But it feels like when I talk to you, it's so easy for me.
Yeah.
And we just, like, laugh, and there's, like, no drama, and there's like no, it doesn't feel like there's competition, because I feel like a lot of times when you meet another influencer and you sit down and you talk to them, sometimes all they can really talk about is work and what they're bringing in or what sponsorships they're doing.
Yeah.
And like, it is fun sometimes, but some people can make it feel like it's a competition. And I just like, I don't want to feel like you're my coworker. I want to feel like you're my friend outside of work.
Yeah. And the weird thing is that we talk about all of those things. Like we talk about money, we talk about brand deals, but it's never in a competitive manner. It's like, oh, like where are you getting?
Yeah.
Like where am I getting? Like, is it roughly the same? Should
And
we
it's always
be asking for more?
And it's always like, I'm so proud of you. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm literally like, I don't feel like your success ever takes away. I mean, nobody's success takes away from your own success. But especially in this friendship, like I never feel that. I found it.
You found it?
It's
what day was it?
March 22nd of 2021.
Can we like recreate our like first date?
Yes. Isn't that crazy? So we've really only been friends for 2 years.
Yes.
But we have the kind of effortless friendship where I can hit you up anytime and you can hit me up anytime. But there's also like no hard feelings where if you don't text me or if I don't text you, like there's no bitter feelings.
We're like low maintenance friends.
Yes.
I'm a low maintenance friend, and I feel bad because sometimes I have friendships where they are a little bit more high maintenance, but I don't know how to interact with people that are high maintenance. Because for me, my day to day, I'm really bad about, and it's something that I definitely need to work on, but I am really bad about texting people unless I physically see them. I'd rather like physically see you or have someone just like call me out of the blue rather than texting them back. Also, my fiance is like behind the camera and I just see him looking at me being like, yep, yeah, she's really bad at it.
No.
Oh my God. Can I tell you, I'm actually really a bad friend of yours. I did not know how to pronounce your last name until you started Scrubs and Soy Sauce and you said it in the very first episode.
That's totally fine.
I thought it was Mickey Ray.
That's okay. People think that all the time.
Okay. I felt like a terrible person when I found out your last name was Rye. I was so in shock because I had never said it to you.
No, that's fine.
But like to other people.
I don't ever say my last name, so it makes sense.
I will say whenever people meet me in real life, it's always like, Miss Tiffany Ma. I'm like, no, sweetheart.
What?
No, it's
Why?
Miss Tiffany Ma.
But I feel like people who like are like maybe like of Chinese descent would know better because they're like, oh, that's like a pretty common
last name. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say it's definitely people that are not Asian that say May all the time, but it's fine. I get it.
I love how they just like added their own flair to it and added a whole letter.
Well, that was me and Ray instead of Rye. Like, wow,
no,
I'm such a dummy.
All the time. So the first time we met, we hung out and we got pizza, and then we've seen each other, I would say, pretty frequently since then. Like, I go to LA at least a couple times a year, and you are probably the only person, you and my manager are the only two people that I see every single time I go to LA. Yeah.
I feel so honored. I will say I love when you're in town. I'm like, if Mickey's ever in town, I have to see her.
We always have a good time. Most recently, we went to the Unforgettable Gala.
We did.
Which was so much fun because we were both like, should we go? Or
oh
should
my
we
God.
just have a night in?
No. For those who we got Shake Shack before we left too, and I was so stuffed and happy. And I was like, I'd be down to just chill here.
Yeah. For those who don't know what the Unforgettable Gala is, it's basically like Asian prom where all of your favorite AAPI celebrities all get together and it's a celebration. So there's like a dinner, a banquet, there's a red carpet, and then you end with this really fun after party. And so Tiff, Kevin, and I ended up going to the after party. And it was so much fun. We got to meet a lot of cool people.
I had Max imposter syndrome there. I was like, why do I belong here when there's like all of these like amazing actors and actresses that are like in Everything Everywhere All at Once, Aquafina, like all these people. I'm like, what am I doing here? Like,
the Samurai Turned Pretty. Lola was there.
Crazy Rich Asians.
Nice.
Yes. No, but you know what? It made me realize how much of a great social networker you are because you were so comfortable just like coming up to people being like, hi, I'm Mickey. Like, hi.
Somehow and I don't know what this is. Like somehow when I'm in a room with other people, like other Asian people, because I feel like they look like me, maybe they think like me too. Like I feel more comfortable.
Okay, good.
Because I also feel like because it's my community, I know that we have more interests and things in common and like, you know, cultural trauma that we can relate to together. Because like in a situation where I'm with people who I don't resonate as deeply with, I do not know how to strike a conversation. Like I feel like you're so much better at that. Because you're like genuinely just curious. So I feel like you're pretty good at like asking questions and getting people to like talk about themselves. And I feel like I have a hard time doing that.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually felt so awkward when I went up. So the only person I went up to during the Unforgettable Gala there was a handful of people, but the one that stuck out to me was Michelle Pham, and I felt like I was so awkward around her. And I was
didn't
like,
think it was awkward
really?
at all.
I was like, I feel like I'm being so awkward. I'm a really shy person, but I feel like most people think I'm more outgoing than I actually am.
But to be fair, she was really like, she was calm. Like she was really, really calm and collected. And so I feel like our energy was like up here.
No, it was like completely
here.
different energy levels. I was like, hi, Michelle. I don't know if you remember me.
Yeah, she was very sweet. She was very sweet.
My heart.
So let's talk a little bit about your college education. Can you tell us a little bit about your degree and how college was for you?
Yeah. Okay. So my college education started at the same school Miki went to. So I went to UCLA as well, except I, of course, like I said earlier, am 5 years older than her. So I started in 2011 and I didn't think I was going to go to UCLA at all, actually.
Really?
Yeah. So what happened was I only applied to 3 schools.
Okay.
I applied to UC Berkeley, UC Davis, and UCLA.
Okay.
I actually got into all 3 of them. I was really studious as a high school student, valedictorian. But what happened was I thought I was going to go to Berkeley, actually. But one of my guy friends who had went to UCLA, he's a year older, he had been in town for spring break when I got my offer letter from UCLA. Ooh. And he submitted my letter of intent on my behalf. He was just like, no, you're going to go to UCLA.
Wait, no way.
And he was like, sign in right now to like the website. And he's like, you're doing it.
Were you mad about it?
No, I just didn't have the balls because for me, I live in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Berkeley's only 2 hours away. It was close to home. I understood SF. I'd been a bunch of times.
Right.
And I was like, I think I want to go to Berkeley. But UCLA to me was like way like cooler to me, but I didn't have the balls to do it.
Yeah.
And he was the one that gave me the balls to do it. We ended up actually dating maybe like 2 weeks after he did that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, he ended up being a terrible boyfriend. Terrible boyfriend.
But he did help you make that crucial decision.
I would say I studied business economics at UCLA. I did a few internships while at UCLA. And then my senior year of college, I actually got a full-time offer at a consulting firm and ended up taking the offer and was planning on doing that, except I had been dabbling into YouTube at the time as well. And I really wanted to do YouTube, but unfortunately I'd only made $13,000 from YouTube like the previous few years. And I was like, there's no way I'm making real money doing this. But my grandpa and my grandma on my dad's side passed away on New Year's and Chinese New Year's my senior year. And I kind of had a meltdown.
Did that give you like new perspective?
It did. It made me realize that, you know, like, of course, education is everything. And of course, having a full-time job that is cushy and you can climb the corporate ladder and you'll have a successful career if you just work hard and it's steady income. I couldn't keep doing it. I was like, I don't know if I want to live this lifestyle of working from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. during busy season for consulting. And I ended up emailing my boss. It was like, can I extend my offer for a year? And they said, yeah. And so my offer was for $60,000 a year. Okay. And then that first year on YouTube, I ended up tripling it. So I got really lucky.
Oh yeah. My gosh. I bet like in the back of your head, you were probably going into it like, oh, if I even like match the 60K, I'll be so happy.
Yeah.
Right.
I was really lucky. I went from like 100,000 subscribers, which was a really good amount, to like 1 million within that first year. Oh, so I got really lucky.
What did your work schedule look like that year? Like, how hard were you working? Were you doing all the editing yourself?
Yes. Yeah. I was doing everything because I was making no money. I was living literally behind Skid Row. I don't know if you know this.
No.
Yeah. In downtown LA with my sister in like a 900 square foot loft. There was no room, so we were sharing a loft on each side, and there was curtains literally separating our rooms.
And you were filming there. That was where you were filming.
Yes,
that's amazing.
It was so ugly. I never showed like the kitchen or anything. I didn't vlog. It was just my like weekly videos.
Yeah.
But I was doing everything myself. I would do all-nighters all the time. A little bit because I'm a procrastinator, but also like I was just trying to hustle because I knew that I didn't want to work at my consulting firm, and I just had to make enough money.
What was your main motivation? Was it money? Was it success? A combination of everything?
I would say a combination of everything. I mean, I feel like it's probably the same for you, right? Like, what is your motivation? Is it the money, or is it the respect? Is it the success? Is it the creativity of it? Like,
I think like as a creator, it like truly is such a blend of everything. Obviously, you need to have enough money to survive. So I think like that's the first hump. But then once you get over that, then it really is like creative freedom and freedom to like to take care of your schedule and like take charge of your life, right? Like, because when you're stuck 9 to 5 in a cubicle, you don't have any control over your own decisions or what you get to do.
That's true. I will say for you, do you feel like you work as hard as you used to when you were first starting out being an influencer? Because now you make enough money where you don't have to work as hard. So it's kind of almost hard to upkeep that level of like hustle that you used to have, right? Or is that just me?
I would say when you first start making content, you are so excited that it doesn't feel like work. So you don't feel the work or the workload that you're experiencing. Even though you're not making any money from it, it's just so exciting. I wouldn't say that I work less hard now, but I will say that I have more people helping me to work now. But I think I've oversigned myself up for too many things. Like initially when I started, it was just Instagram. And then I added YouTube. And then I added TikTok. And then I added like a podcast. So I would say that even though there are people who I'm delegating tasks to, I am still working as much as I was back then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I feel like I'm in a place where maybe it's because I have different interests outside of just YouTube, because I am doing the real estate stuff.
Yeah.
That it's been really hard for me to stay focused, because for me, when I first started out, I only had to worry about YouTube and maybe a little bit of Instagram, but mainly YouTube.
Right.
And now because I feel like there's so many different social media sites that I have to pay attention to, I don't even have enough attention span to give even one platform.
Sometimes I get overwhelmed and then I do nothing.
Like, exactly. That's how I feel. And it's bad.
And when you have so much control over your schedule, like as a creator in general, there are no deadlines. Like nobody's expecting you to have to do something, except when it comes to brand deals. Those are the only like strict deadlines we have. Then I'm like, I can just take a random Tuesday off and do whatever. Or, I just want to organize my house today. I'm not going to film or do anything. And then I think once you get stuck in that cycle, it's hard to get out of it.
Yeah. But also you can organize your house and make it content. I feel like people would love that.
That's true. I forgot who I was talking to, but they were like, I find comfort knowing that no matter what good or bad happens in my life, I can monetize it because I'm a creator.
Wait, that's actually so smart.
Which is true. Like even when the worst things happen to us, at least you get a good story time out of it.
I've seen lots of people monetize like their divorces, their breakups, their cheating scandals, like anything.
Yeah. I mean, like if a bad thing is going to happen to you, why not at least make money from it? Which I stand by that. I'm like, get your bag. So you obviously did not ever go back to that $60K job offer.
No.
Did you ever email them and say like, oh, I'm not coming back?
Okay, I feel really bad because they emailed me a month before I was supposed to start and asked me, because I hate having uncomfortable conversations. Yeah. And I'd been putting it off, which is really bad. And it's something I learned in UCLA. Don't do that. Like, don't put things off. Yeah. But I definitely put it off. But we should talk about, like things that I feel like influencers can learn from if they actually went to college as well. Yeah. Because there is a level of professionalism I see amongst, I would say, other like YouTubers or like social media influencers that don't have somewhat of a professional background or an educational background. Yeah.
So I think it's harder to say now. I would say initially, definitely most creators did not have college degrees. Mm-hmm. And then now, because it's more like anyone can be a creator, especially with the rise of short form content, we are seeing a lot more creators who do have educational backgrounds or specific expertise in whatever thing that they are teaching. Mm-hmm. And I do feel like not that education is everything, but education definitely teaches you some lessons, and it teaches you, it's almost like the discipline of it is the most important part.
Yeah.
I would say one thing, like feedback that I constantly get from brands is that content creators do not submit their stuff on time.
So when a brand says something is due Monday, do you send it in like before Monday, or do you send it
end of day Monday? Okay. Yeah. See, like, are there times where sometimes I'm like super late on Monday?
Mine's 8 p.m. Monday.
Okay, yeah. That happens to me too. But I will get it on the Monday. Yeah. Like if it's due on Monday. In the 4 years that I've taken brand deals, I think there's only been 2 instances that I've pushed back a deadline. 1 for an extenuating circumstance, and 2 was because the draft date was 3 weeks ahead of the live date. So I was like, sorry, I'm busy this week. Can we just push that back? Yeah. But those are the only 2 times. And I told them in advance. It was never I forgot. Mm-hmm. You will often hear from brands saying that a lot of creators are unprofessional. They say they're going to get something in, but then they don't, which on the brand side is really tough, right? Because they have to meet KPIs, they have specific metrics that they have to hit, and if you don't post on their campaign timeline, they might not be able to meet their goals, especially for a lot of the kind of younger creators, right?
And especially for if you ever work with a brand, sometimes you're not working directly with L'Oreal, you're working with a third market agency.
Right.
And so the agency has these deadlines because L'Oreal is asking them for the content.
Right.
So they are put in a pickle where they don't have the content they need. But I always feel like they have a little bit of buffer because they understand working with content creators is a little tough.
Yeah, they don't do well. I can't control the creativity is what a lot of people would say.
I will say that I've been really good friends with a couple content creators that send things in 2 weeks late, 3 weeks late. They'll send things in late where it's this promo code works until September 1st, 2023. And they'll send it after September 1st, 2023. Yeah.
I would feel so ashamed.
Yeah. I will say that was one thing my manager used to tell me was I was really good about deadlines. I will say I faltered a little bit where it's 6 hours late now, past end of day.
That's fine. I think that's fine. As long as you're still on the same calendar day, I think it's okay. I think the other thing is being professional in your emails and in your communications. I think that's basic etiquette that you learn. Of course, you learn it in high school and stuff, but especially in college, I feel you really hone that professional voice and a little bit of negotiation skills, how to talk to people.
See, the thing is, I did study business, but I don't think that I've applied a lot of the things that I learned in my business. One of them being I am professional in a way in my emails, but I, for the life of me, cannot not have an exclamation mark in an email.
Oh, that's just a girl thing. It's because we feel
do you do that
inferior.
As well?
Yeah, I always put an exclamation mark.
Because you're talking about how to be professional in your emails. I was I don't know if exclamation marks are very professional.
And if there's no exclamation mark, then it's a colon and a parentheses, a smiley face. Because I feel bad, especially if I'm saying something that's not mean, but if it's negative feedback or if it's I'm asking for more, then I feel bad. And then I have a question.
When a brand reaches out to you to work with you, how do you respond?
Well, I don't handle any of that anymore because my manager does everything.
Yeah.
But I used to back in the day when I was initially starting out. But I was very horrible at negotiating for myself. I just didn't have any friends that were influencers because for those who don't know, I initially started out purely with nursing content. So all of the content was super educational. I was teaching people how to administer a blood transfusion. It was very technical, and hence all of the friends that I made from that space were also medical influencers. And it was so new at the time that none of us knew how much to charge. Yeah. And if anything, as a medical influencer, I have a degree. If I am promoting something that has some sort of medical backing, I should be charging more than the average influencer who, right, it maybe is just in the lifestyle category. But I didn't understand that. And to me, I was okay, I make $8 at the bakery. I make, $17 as a caregiver. Whatever amounts I was making, the amount of money was so not comprehensible for me that for my first ever sponsorship, I charged $400 for one Instagram video and one Instagram post. I think I also threw in a couple stories and I signed away my life usage rights to this company.
I mean, we didn't know better because I'm pretty sure I negotiated a few deals myself for $100 and they have my likeness for perpetuity. Thank God they haven't utilized it, but I'm sure.
So for those who don't know, you are never ever supposed to give away your
usage
in perpetuity. It's always like for a finite amount of time, usually a couple months up to a year, right? And so when you give it to them in perpetuity, like let's say you promoted a skincare product and you gave them usage for perpetuity, like that could prevent you from working with any skincare product ever in the future because
if they have exclusivity,
No, like if your face is just plastered everywhere, like why would anybody want to work with you if you're already the face of something else? So that was a really big mistake that I made back then. Thankfully, they have not used it since.
So I had to get smart because the last negotiation I made as myself, I negotiated a worldwide campaign for Origins, which is a skincare brand.
Wow.
Have you heard of Origins?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It was great. I had no idea going into it that it was a worldwide campaign. I literally thought they were just sending me to New York just to take some like photos to post on my own Instagram.
Okay.
No, my face was all over subways in Japan, inside Macy's. They had the billboards up, and
first of all,
I kid
so
you
cool.
not, I only asked for $6,000.
Girl!
$6,000 for a worldwide campaign, which 6,000 is a lot. Let me be honest. It is a lot for maybe 3 days worth of work, but they owned my likeness for a year.
Did you have exclusivity too?
I don't believe so. No, because I'm pretty sure I worked with other brands after that. That was the last time I was like, I need a real manager.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what I'm doing.
I know people are going to listen to this and be like, oh, $6,000 is a lot. Why are you saying that that's not a lot? But if you think about how much money the brand is spending on the marketing campaign, like these are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So there's no reason that you can't compensate the person fairly when they are the face of the campaign. Like the reason the product is selling is because of you.
Yeah.
Right. And even a model on set, like that's a couple grand a day. So if they are not only using you as a model, but also using your image and your likeness to sell the product, it only makes sense that you get a comparable pay.
And I know a lot of people have like issues with the fact that influencers make so much, but if you think about it, like you had said, we are not like I'm talking outside of this campaign. We are the editors, the director, the actor, the script writer. We're all of that. And for a brand to pay for a commercial, for a script writer, a director, makeup artist, everything involved, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. So they're saving so much money just having us, just giving us like 10 to 15 to 20, whatever it is, $1,000.
Oh, 100%.
Versus 100 in not even like probably $1 million to make a commercial.
Yeah.
And we're hitting the same.
Yeah. The return is much higher because the influencer or the creator has a much more intimate relationship than, let's say we're watching like a TV ad. You just mute it and you don't watch it. But if it's my favorite creator and they're recommending me a product, I'm much more likely to go click on that link. Like that's how I find the things that I want to use too. I go watch creators that I love and then I add to cart.
Honestly, TikTok is dangerous because of that.
I do be buying a lot of stuff.
I know. It's bad.
Yeah.
The amount of stuff I buy from Amazon because of TikTok is bad.
Same. The struggle is real trying to meet somebody IRL in 2023. When I asked Kevin what his favorite dating app from the past was, he immediately said Coffee Meets Bagel. Y'all always ask, where can I find a man like Kevin? He cooks, he cleans, he's a doctor, an NCAA athlete, and he has the best personality. Well, the answer is Coffee Meets Bagel. That was his dating app of choice. If you're tired of casual dating and looking for a serious relationship, Coffee Meets Bagel was made for you. In fact, Coffee Meets Bagel is so serious about dating that if you sign up for the app and say you're looking for a casual relationship, the app recommends you check out a different app because this one is for the real ones. Over 91% of daters on Coffee Meets Bagel are looking for a serious relationship, especially for people like us working long 12-hour shifts with no time to sit down or take a lunch break. Our schedules are super demanding and we don't want to be wasting precious time if the other person isn't looking for something real. I also love the filters that they have, including age, height, distance, allowing you to pre-screen through candidates that you already know won't be a good fit. We personally know 2 friends who met on Coffee Meets Bagel. One couple is engaged and the other is happily married. I still remember my friend telling me about going on her first date with her now fiance while they were in college, and now they've moved in together, got a dog, and gone on family vacations. It's all very magical to watch unfold. The best part is that these two probably would have never met in real life if it weren't for a little push from online dating and getting the chance to interact with more people. Modern times call for modern techniques to find love. We've teamed up with Coffee Meets Bagel to bring you 1 month free of Coffee Meets Bagel Premium to make it even easier for you to find a serious relationship. To redeem the offer on Android, use Miki and and Kev in the Coffee Meets Bagel app. On iOS, use Miki and Kev via the link provided in the video/podcast description. So you said you got a manager. At what point in your career did you know you were ready for that? And if you feel comfortable, like how does it work, like having a manager?
For my case, I have had the same manager since like 2016, I would say. I started using her a year after I had graduated, kind of got myself situated, and then realized I was screwing myself over by only taking brand deals for like $4,000 to $5,000, maybe $6,000, which was the most I've ever charged a brand for Origins. But I've been super loyal to her. I've been working with her for 7 years now. But our structure is definitely different. I would say a lot of people, they will email the manager directly, but I actually have my own personal emails in my inboxes, and I just forward them to her or CC them with her. And I only do this because I also get a lot of like PR companies reaching out to me being like, hey, like here's this event. And I know a lot of managers handle that for people, but I will say that sometimes I've heard of managers just having that fall through the cracks and they won't even invite their influencers or tell them that these things are happening. So I feel like I have a lot more control that way, and I'm definitely a control addict. I like to have control of things.
Yeah.
So I like having it this way. And I always have the same email when I don't even want to say it because what if a brand's watching this? But I always have the same email response when a brand reaches out to me. It's always like, thank you.
Looping in my manager.
Yeah. It's always, thanks, Miki, for reaching out. I'd love to work with you guys. It sounds like such an interesting campaign, or something very personal about the campaign. Either I have a personal history with them or whatever. So I add that. And then I'll be like, I'm just CCing my team so that they're in the loop as well. And then I CC my agent, and then I CC my manager, and then they handle all the negotiations. And one time they forgot to take me off the negotiations, and I saw how they negotiated. I was like, damn, this is why they're on my team. Like, this is why, because I would have never been able to negotiate this way.
Wait, I want to see. My team also takes me off, so I can't see.
Yeah, no, my agent at WME when I was with them, she was incredible. Her name is Samantha Levy, and now she only works with musicians. So unfortunately, I'm not a musician, very tone deaf, but she was incredible. The way she negotiates, she does not give them my rates. She asks them for their budget, and it's always, let's hop on a phone call. She never emails them. She goes, let's hop on a phone call. Let's see what your budget is. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, that's really smart. I don't know what my agents do now.
For anybody who maybe you have to negotiate your own campaigns, or you're dealing with negotiations, not even in a brand deal perspective, the best thing you can do is ask somebody, what is your budget? Because if they come and they tell you like, okay, my budget is $1,000, then you come and you figure out what you can do for $1,000, right? Instead of them being like, okay, how much do you charge for XYZ? If maybe you only charge $200 for that, but instead you could be pitching that for $1,000 because that's how much they have.
Or that's how much they think you're worth. Yeah.
Right. Figuring out that sweet spot, I feel like, is really important.
I will say, do you feel like the rates overall have lowered as you become a content creator, like as you've grown?
Yeah. Well, I think your perspective is probably more interesting because you've been in this industry like longer than I have. I didn't really blow up until roughly like 2020 or so. And I started creating back in like, I don't know, 2016, 2017. But basically, the rates were insanely inflated during not COVID, but right after COVID, because all of the brands had stopped all the marketing campaigns. No money was getting spent. And so they had this big pocket of money that was left over. And the way that marketing budgets work, you have to use them in a fiscal year or a calendar year, whatever year is allocated for your budget. And so at the end of 2020, we saw like a huge surge of everybody needing to use their budget that they didn't use for that year. So I feel like you were getting essentially like more money for campaigns than you normally would.
Really?
And that kind of continued on into 2022 was really busy as well. That was the busiest Q1 I had ever seen in my life. So there's Q1, 2, 3, 4. Q4 is almost always the busiest for creators because that's when the holiday campaigns come out. You have Thanksgiving, you have Christmas, like gift giving. That is the best time to entice someone to buy something. And then Q1, it usually slows down a bit because beginning of the year, people are like, okay, I'm going to be better. I'm going to not spend this much money. But Q1 was still so busy. The whole year was pretty busy. And I had my best year yet. And this year, things have been slow for me.
Really?
slower.
No, you say that, and
it has been slower relative.
I know your campaigns. Yeah,
no, but relative to the last 2 years, though, it felt much, much slower. And then because the economy has calmed down, I wouldn't say that we're in a recession necessarily, but because it has definitely slowed down, marketing is always the first thing to get cut.
Which I don't think it should be, because that's kind of the way you know, expand and get new audiences and get new customers. I would say that my theory of why things have changed drastically in the budgets that we now partake in is not just because of the recession we're in, but because of the level of quality of influencers we have nowadays, because it's so easy to become an influencer.
Well, everybody is a creator now. So you have so much competition for the same job.
Exactly.
And if you, let's say like I have to pay you $10,000, but that person can do the same for only $3,000. So then the job will then go to the $3,000 because it's not that it's diluting the market, but because there's so much more competition, like how are you going to make yourself stand out? Like, are you going to make better videos? Are you going to charge less? What is the thing? What is the it factor?
And not only that, there's a lot of situations where because influencers are so new to the game, they don't have their managers, they don't have their agency, they don't understand what a proper usage or rates should look like. So they are willing to take those like
smaller deals,
pennies on the dollar deals. And I've had a friend who was much younger. She's in her early 20s, like maybe 19 or 20 still. And she had almost 1 million TikTok followers and was taking brand deals for $50 a TikTok.
I did a TikTok for $75 once.
How big were you?
Over 1 million.
Yeah. Miki, you are one of the girls I'm talking about.
I am one of the girls.
And see, and because, and you know what? When I was at 400,000 subscribers and getting 200,000 views on my videos, that's when I was charging Origins literally $6,000 for a campaign in a video. Like, I totally get it. But yeah, no, that's what I'm saying is that there's so many influencers like popping up and becoming new and becoming the it girls that they're not charging the right rates. So it's kind of like flattening the rates for everyone.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely agree with it. And it's tough because like I think it takes people a long time to like build that team and find the right people that you can trust. And it's not like we have a union where we can all be like, okay, we're all charging this rate when we're at this engagement or this following. And also it's so taboo to talk about money in general, especially as a creator, because most people feel that creators are way overpaid.
Yeah.
So in general, I feel like those conversations just don't happen unless you have like an intimate and close relationship with somebody. Like, I love how in the tech world it's so transparent. Like, they all talk about it. They openly say how much they make, like, on the internet.
You know what? Maybe we should start this. A glass door for influencers.
Someone created something like that, actually. Yeah.
I've had no original thoughts in my entire life. No original thoughts.
Someone made one. But I think it's still pretty, like, it's newer and it's up and coming.
What's it called?
I don't remember. But I think it's tough because then sometimes you want to gatekeep. Like, let's say a brand has a really nice budget and you want to keep working with them. Why would you then entice other people to also work with that brand, right? There's a lot of competition. And actually, I was going to ask you, since you live in LA and you are in the LA influencer scene, is there, like, do you participate in events? Do you feel like it helps you get more jobs?
100%.
Really?
I actually just went to Ren Skincare. Have you heard of them?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so they're like a London-based company. They were coming to LA to visit. And I wasn't expecting to get a brand deal. I just showed up because they were giving out facials. I was like, free facial from a brand I absolutely love. Yeah. Let's do it.
Heck yeah.
And when I was there, she offered me a brand deal. She was like, you have eczema? I was like, yeah. And she was like, do you talk about it? I was like, I actually never talk about it. She's like, why don't you talk about it? I was like, I don't know. I feel like it's like something kind of embarrassing to talk about. She's like, you should talk about it. Would you ever feel comfortable talking about it? I was like, yeah, you're making me feel comfortable talking about it. And she's like, okay, let's make a brand deal happen. I'll email you on Monday.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And it happened. And then I love the product. It's the Ren Overnight Recovery Balm. Not to like talk about it, but if you have eczema, I promise you, it is like the best thing on earth. Like literally every time I break out, that's what I use.
Is that scene everything that people make it out to be? Do you think? Like, is it really that fun going to events?
No, because a lot of the times you'll go to an event, and I've actually been to an event. Okay, so fashion events are different than beauty events.
Okay.
beauty events, people are genuinely nice. Like, I would say like some people are fake, but they're like nice. Every time I've ever attended a fashion event, I feel like I'm this ugly duckling that is so uncool. Yeah. Like, I've been to multiple fashion events where I leave within 30 minutes because I just feel so uncomfortable.
Really?
Yeah, and I really don't. But the thing is, I love fashion personally, and I want that more to be my brand. So I'm like, okay, no, I have to stick around. And it's a different type of, I feel like in the beauty community, there's an actual community within like the beauty gurus.
Totally.
But with the fashion girlies, maybe I'm just not a part of the community, but I don't see the community aspect of it as much as I see it in the beauty community.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I always think about it this way because when I first started getting invited to events, I was so excited to attend.
Yeah.
Especially the ones in LA because I blew up mostly during the pandemic. And so for a long time, I didn't get to experience it. And when you go to the events, don't get me wrong, like a lot of them are super fun and super exciting, but they're not all that people make them out to be. And I thought about it this way because what you're seeing is like the media version, right? So like as a creator, it is my job to make things look good. So when I post it on the internet, it'll be even better than what the actual thing was. Going to the actual thing is like, it's great, but it's certainly not what people make it out to be. I feel like they like
even brand trips,
like exaggerate the experience.
Has there been like an actual influencer event that you've been like, wow, damn, I wish I was there?
I think there's a lot of things that are very well put together. I feel like in general, I don't really get invited to things because I'm in Seattle.
Wait, next time you're in LA, well, I'll make sure I'm getting invited to an event and I'll take you.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, that's the other thing. I feel like when you go with other people that you like,
it's so much better.
It's way more fun.
It's so much better.
When you are stuck like with people that you don't know and then you have to try to mingle, sometimes it's tough, especially if, let's say, the creators are not in the same niche as you don't have like as much in common.
Or if you don't know who they are either.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of influencers, if they don't know who you are, they think you're nothing.
It's so funny because people from the East Coast will always say, like, we on the West Coast are so much more fake. Yeah. But we are fake and we are always nice to the person's face. And then obviously there are people who backstab. But I feel like the East Coast is flipped. Like they are just straight and very direct to your face. Yeah. Like LA, like we always put on a facade. We always act nice. Mm-hmm. Whether or not the person is actually nice is like a whole different story. Yeah. But I'm so used to that because that's just what I grew up around. Yeah. So it doesn't seem abnormal to me. But when other people pointed it out to me, I was like, oh, that's actually really interesting. Like I've never thought about it that way. That it was like we play this like fake game where we're all like nice to each other. But the thing is, I feel like you should be nice to people. I know, like what do you mean? You're gonna be mean to like a stranger you don't know just because you don't know them? No, we're just not that straightforward, right? Yeah. Like we like sugarcoat almost everything. We're like very nice. Yeah. And I think that can be taken the wrong way sometimes. Do you feel like your closest friends are influencers or creators, or would you say they're a good mix? I would say maybe like 2 years ago, I would say most of my closest friends were influencers. Okay. But I've gotten to a place where I just turned 30 and I really wanted to reevaluate like my friendships and my life over the last 8 months. And a lot has changed in my life. Like I started flipping homes. I started having different interests outside of just like my influencer stuff that I was doing. Right. I would say I have a good mix of both, but I would say a lot of it is non-influencer friends. I think it's healthy to have a good mix of people in the space and also not in the space. In the space because they can relate to what you're going through. And a lot of the things we go through are very unrelatable unless you actually are a creator. Like some of the editing things, the little nuances. But then drama. But also just like having normal people. I feel like I love nursing because I love going and working like an hourly job where I am reminded the value of money because sometimes as a creator, I feel like it's very easy to let things get to your head. You get jaded. You forget to appreciate the things and the opportunities that you have because it is really unreal. Like nobody should receive the amount of positive or negative feedback that an influencer does. Money is pretty crazy. Like the numbers just like all analytics numbers, brand deal numbers, all the numbers start to get like very... It's super unhealthy to have your life revolve around analytics. Yeah. Not just, monetarily, but, seeing you get 100,000 views one day and then the next it's 10,000. You're like, wait, have people stopped liking me?
Am I not cool enough? Am I becoming unpopular? Like, what's going on? Like, and also just like chasing the algorithm is so unhealthy. And especially, I don't know if you were around for like the 2016 chasing the algorithm, the fake videos people used to pop out. The clickbait saying I'm pregnant, saying we're breaking up, and it's just like you're leaving for vacation for 3 days or something. Yeah. Or even like the making your life look perfect. That's like super unhealthy as well. Because I remember the morning routines where my face was full glam and I'm pretending I'm drinking cucumber water in the mornings and eating like avocado toast every single day. Like that's not what my life looks like. But
can you give us like the tea? Give us one thing that you not like lied about, but like you filmed differently than actually happens in real life.
It's not
the
even
whole thing.
Whole morning routines, girl. I get up at 11 a.m. I roll out of bed and I do absolutely nothing. I'm on my phone for 3 hours.
Morning routine?
I did, but I did say that like that wasn't actually me. That I did honestly say like, no, I don't normally do this.
I love that, especially knowing you, because I know that you stay up late and you also wake up late.
You'd be so proud of me. I woke up at 7 a.m. yesterday because of jet lag, and then 9 a.m. today. Tomorrow's going to be 11.
When you responded to my text at like 11 this morning, I was like, wow, like I'm amazed. Do you feel like as a creator writing the different waves, because every creator goes through waves of relevancy and irrelevancy, or what, I don't even know what to call it. Not irrelevancy, but like less relevancy, right? And even like I experience that all the time. Like you will have months even in a year where you're doing amazing, the views are good, everybody loves you, and then the next month nobody watches your video, nobody cares. How do you deal with that as a creator?
I will say that I went through a phase where I was getting hundreds of thousands of views on every single video, if not almost 1 million views on every single video. And now I get maybe 1/10 of that. But I think for me was learning that as long as I'm putting out content that I'm proud of and that I'm not cringing at, it was okay. Because if I was putting a video that I found very cringy, but it was also on top of that only getting 5,000 views, it's really embarrassing and it would actually genuinely hurt my soul. So nowadays I make videos that I would genuinely want to watch and I'm okay with other people that know me watching. Where like I'm okay with feeling that irrelevancy, but it is really hard on your mental health when you feel like people love you one week and then the next they don't. And so as long as I can have people in my life that are outside of the influencer game that can just like ground me and humble me, it feels really nice. And I would say like Matt is like a really good example of someone that really makes me feel grounded and it makes me feel like worthy outside of like my numbers. So
I love that. I think it's really hard because no other job do you like see your performance to a T. Like YouTube has the ranking, right? Every video you post, they give you a ranking from 1 to 10 and they tell you like,
feels bad
when you see 10 out of 10 multiple weeks in a row, and it's like it has that little text that says like people aren't choosing to watch this video as often. It's so degrading, especially when it's something that you work so hard for. And I feel like I learned a lot of lessons from you because I'm obviously a newer creator. And so when I consult you and I'm like, hey, I'm not feeling good about this, like you always just give me the best advice. And like what you said, when you are proud of a video, I found that even like 2 views, like even if I'm the one who watches that video, I'm like, I feel so proud. I feel good that I put it out. I don't regret putting it out. It's when you cringe for your own content. And it does poorly. That's when it like really burns.
I posted a video from when I turned 30 saying 30 things I learned before I turned 30 or something like that. And it was like 10 out of 10 rank. But all the comments were like, this video was so helpful that it made me feel really good because I was actually really proud of that video. That was like maybe the only time where it's okay to feel irrelevant if you're like proud of your work. Because in 5 years, I feel like 5 years ago when I was making those like morning routines that were so unrealistic and making like 10 lies every girl tells, I only did it to like shop the algorithm and to like, because I understood the algorithm so well at the time that I look back on those videos and I've privated all of them. I've unprivated them recently actually because someone was saying.
Get that AdSense, girl.
Do you feel like for you, how do you see kind of like your future as an influencer becoming?
I don't know. I think that past me, especially when I graduated initially, I had a 5-year plan, I had a 10-year plan, I had a 30-year plan. Like,
what was your 30-year plan?
I knew exactly what I wanted and where I wanted it. You know, like in the end, I wanted to be on a beach in Hawaii. Like, that was the ultimate goal. But as I've gotten older, the more I realized that life is really volatile, and you will never be done with your to-do list in life. It will just continue. Yeah, and if you can't learn to deal with the uncertainty and the discomfort of it, you'll be very miserable. And so, yeah, I have like rough ideas for where I would like life to be, but I try to just live in the moment, in the present, as cliche as that sounds. And when I'm ready for something different, my body and my mind will tell me that it's time for something new. Do I want to be doing like bedside nursing if I'm like 9 months pregnant? Probably not. Like, I will probably be doing something different, like maybe more educational things, advocacy. So I think, you know, life will shift as I get older. And then, like, let's say my kids grow up and I have nothing to do. Like, would I have more time to do something else? Probably, right?
Yeah.
So I think I am just passionate about growing as a human being. And the thing is that, like, our lives are our content, and our content are our lives.
Do you think you'll be a family vlogger?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would show my kids on the internet. Maybe when they're like really young, like a baby, because I mean, the baby is fine. But as soon as they have independent thoughts and things that they want to do, I would never want to force my child to do something that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
And I also genuinely like am concerned for their safety and their well-being, because I cannot shelter them or protect them from everything. So I don't know. What would you do? Would you show your kids?
That is a great question, because I don't want to show my kid's face, but I do want to
show motherhood.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to say it. But I don't want people to feel comfortable to shout out my kid's name in public, and that person, like, and my kid thinking it's safe to say hi to them.
I see.
Like, if my kid is named Chris and they're like, Chris, hi, and Chris thinks that, oh, like, I must know this person.
I've never even thought about that. That's true.
Yeah, because, you know,
that could be dangerous.
That could be super dangerous. And there are times when, like, a fan will come up to me and be like, hi, Tiffany, how are you? And they seem almost like I could be friends with this person. Like, have I met them at an event? Have I met them in college? Like, do I know this person?
It's a parasocial relationship.
Yeah, I'm like, wait. Then I talk to them as if I know them, because I'm like, oh, like, I must know you somehow. I don't want my kids experiencing that. So I don't think I'd show their face. Maybe when they're babies, and you can't really tell a baby's face.
Exactly.
But once they become toddlers and they're walking around by themselves, I don't think I will either.
Yeah, I think it's tough. And I'm thankful that I grew up without the internet. Like, I did not grow up on the internet. I'm not one of the creators who, like, blew up while I was still growing up. I did all of my maturing emotionally, physically, mentally off the internet. And like, I know my own self-worth. Like, when I get hate comments on the internet, it doesn't hurt me the way that it would if I was still developing my own self-esteem. And I don't want my kids to go through that if they are not ready to handle something, because the internet is a cruel place.
I feel like this is something I love to tell my friends, and my friends all agree on, is that your level of maturity happens the year you got famous for influencers. So if, like, an influencer got famous at 16 and they're like 28 now, they kind of still act like they're in their late teens. I got lucky that I was able to kind of mature. Like, I don't think I'm that mature at 23, but that's kind of when I got famous or more like bigger. That's when I hit 1 million. But yeah, that's kind of where my emotional maturity stunted until I was maybe 28 and I started going to therapy regularly. I realized that when I was 23 to 28, I was kind of still stuck in my very immature ways, and it kind of made like dating Matthew, and he had gone to therapy before, making me realize that, like, I am stunted in some ways, and I felt locked in some ways. So I think that's why, like, I've gone through, like, a huge change for myself even in the last year, because I'm finally growing out of my 23-year-old ways.
That's such an interesting take. Yeah, I think, again, because the world is so different, it's not exactly the entertainment industry, but I think it has some similarities and parallels to it, where it takes you away from the real world and the real experiences that somebody would experience. Like, again, it's not normal to receive the amount of attention, positive or negative, that we receive. It's not normal to receive free things in the mail. Yeah. Right? Like, our lives are very unreal. It's unrealistic for somebody normally, like, living a normal life to experience those things. And it definitely takes a negative toll if you do not properly take care of yourself and you don't express gratitude and you do not give back to the people who got you to the place where you're at, like it will confuse you.
I don't know what a 23-year-old is supposed to act like, but I feel like you're very mature.
I feel like I try to put myself in uncomfortable situations so that I can learn, because I know they're good for me. But part of knowing it's good for me is because I received all the education that I did growing up, and my parents invested so much in me and my learning that I knew that was a steps that I needed to take. Like, for example, I will take things that are slightly out of my comfort zone, right? Like, for example, sometimes a brand will ask me to speak internally and give a presentation about like the creator economy, whatever it is. Like, am I comfortable doing that? No. But is it something that's good for me? Yes.
Yeah.
So I will say yes to those opportunities, because you have to live like a little bit outside of your comfort zone. I think it also humbles you, because it's like so...
You realize you're not as cool or good as you think you are.
It's so uncomfortable that it helps you grow as a human being, because we are all just like, we're literally all the same. We're all just humans like on this earth.
That's
right?
true. I love that. No, I love that. I love that you actually put yourself in uncomfortable situations. I think I definitely need to put myself in more uncomfortable positions as well.
I think it depends on your phase of life.
Yeah.
Like, I was in a phase where I wanted to do a lot of uncomfortable things, and now I'm kind of in a phase where I'm like, I'm okay just being comfortable for a bit.
I'm in my phase where I just want to take up all the hobbies that I used to want to do.
I love that.
I'm in my like horseback riding era.
Yes. You and Oreo.
Oh my God.
She's riding this very cute horse. Well, anyways, thank you so much for
Are you kidding? This was so fun.
Coming on the pod. I had so much, genuinely, like, I love the podcast where we just like have like a fun conversation and then like somebody else gets to listen in on our combo.
Yeah.
And that's it for this week. We will see you guys next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye guys.